Hi, everyone. Welcome to our market update. It is April. Fast into this year. It seemed like we're, 13 months into the pandemic, kind of everything that's going on, stay-at-home orders.
You know what, Vinnie? That's important that you brought that up, the pandemic and how it was stay-at-home orders, because I've been thinking about something during the pandemic. What's the one thing that you think changed you the most? What did you learn during this pandemic that actually has changed the way you're doing things?
StreamYard.
Oh man. And then the other, I had a client this morning ask me, they said, I learned during this pandemic that I need a new house because I'm at home too much. Yeah. So I think the pandemic's telling people and showing them, if you're going to spend more time in your house, you might as well have the house you love.
Well, that's what we really saw when this first started happening, probably last year, summertime. I mean, maybe even into the end of the year, we really saw the jump in inventory in condos downtown, right? The detached market was just getting crazier and crazier because people, like you're saying, were stuck in their home. They wanted more space, wanted to move up. So that was something that really kind of happened. We're going to get into the numbers, but another thing happened too, where rates dropped. So how are rates looking now?
I thought you were going to come in with a song called Dropping Like It's Hot, but you didn't, because the rates are not dropping like it's hot. It's not. Do you see how I flow like that?
Wow, that is really impressive. How do you do it for all your clients?
Unfortunately, a lot of people thought I should have been a rapper, but I'm not. Because I'm even though I'm a good dancer, I'm not very good with words. But I'm good with a calculator. And it's interesting that you brought up rates, because we're looking at a lot of talk going on this week and things going. More talk today was about another spending bill coming. If the other spending bill comes, which they're anticipating around summer or fall, what's going to happen is they're figuring gas prices will go up and inflation will kick in, which unfortunately, I know, Vinnie, me and you have been talking about, how you do things from ground up. Well, you don't go from zero to a mansion overnight. So rates aren't going to go from super low to super high. So if you think rates are going to go through the roof, they're not, but they are, slowly trickling up. And, it's all going to depend on the job data that comes out. And if you were listening to what Yellen said, she's trying to get with all the other countries to have a global corporation tax for every single company, which is kind of interesting because you don't want companies to leave the US because they have to pay a higher tax. So unfortunately, right now it's a weird economic situation. Rates are still historically amazing. Quick roundabout on that is your average rate is between 3 and 3.25, which is still really good. Your jumbo rates are now 3.25, which, and had you been watching our show, if you asked me and Vinnie that 2 months ago, we would have told you 2.75. And that is now, it's a weird metal called unobtainium, which means you can't obtain it anymore.
That made me chuckle a little bit. Most of your jokes, they
you got to realize, Vinnie, I have a really boring life, and this is all I have is my humor and my mortgage job. So just bear with me, my friend.
All right. Well, I know you bared with us for the first couple of minutes, and because you did that, we have our quiz question for your chance to win $50. Okay, where you text basically myself or David for your chance to win. Now, the question is, what do you call an area that's changing through investor flip properties? We said this multiple times on our seminars, buyer seminars. There's a word that David always makes fun of me on using all the time. So
because you're able to use big words, you have a large, strong vocabulary. Us simple people stick to single syllable words.
Oh gosh,
you're very blessed.
Bat. All right, you know what is fairly simple and pretty straightforward are numbers. Something that David likes, and people watching for the most part like, but the one thing you're not going to like is looking at the cannibalization rate of what's going on in our market. We're talking about 92% of properties hitting the market are getting sold. We have new properties. Again, what happens, you'll see today is going to change probably in a week from now of new properties in the market because it's backdated. We still haven't got to that $1,000 mark. We got really close to the beginning of March. All right. Yet we didn't get there to that 1,000 mark. Usually we start seeing in June, we start seeing that uptick in pricing. But the one interesting, we do have, look at that. We're talking about, if you go to the beginning of March 9th of last year, 987 properties hitting the market and 864 hitting the market on this time. This was, COVID when we started getting the orders. But again, it was a couple days after and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how the next weeks go. Can we compare it to what happened last year? Now, if you're talking under 700,000, again, not a lot has changed. We're still under those thresholds that we were at in September kind of time frame, August, and things like that. Now, what we've been doing in this time too is we've been putting up the numbers in different communities. Now, one community that I thought was kind of interesting did Santee. Now, if you look at current active properties compared to pending, 31 current active properties in the Santee area, okay, with 103 pending properties, right? We're talking about a week worth of inventory. This is prime real estate that's being sold now, active compared to pending. As you can kind of see, sold properties have been fairly consistent on the sold properties. We did actually sell a little bit less of that, but we had a lot more inventory hitting the market. So nothing drastic, but it is kind of interesting of currently active properties to pending properties. That kind of just shows you kind of the market that we're dealing with right now. But yeah, across the board, you're seeing it about basically double the amount of pending properties compared to, in that case right there, triple the amount of pending properties. So what does that tell you? Is the market is still fairly crazy. Had a property that we just put under contract, one of our own listings, that we basically are under contract about 20% above list price. So it's
20% above list price.
Yeah, it's actually
above.
Yeah, we're talking about probably about 25% basically. It's going there.
That is a massive premium.
Yeah. No,
wow.
You
know why, Vinny? You know why you can make that happen? Because in case a lot of you didn't know, Vinny's not in the top 20% of realtors. He's not. He is absolutely not in the top 20%. Now, he is in the top 1%, which is different. But that's what you get when you hire a pro. You get 20% over asking price when selling your home. So for any of you out there that want 20% more money, you may want to give Vinny a call. Or if you want 20% less money, call one of the realtors in the top 20%, because I'm sure they can.
And if you haven't gone with this running joke, the running joke is that if you sold at least one deal in the last 12 months, you're in the top 20% of all realtors in San Diego County. That means that 80% of all realtors have a piece of business in the last 12 months. So just kind of give you a reference point. Now, going back to the question one last time, what do you call an area that's changing through investor flip properties? Basically, flip properties, the property's getting more expensive. What's kind of happening? Text us if you have any questions on any of that kind of stuff. And if you have any questions.
Somebody just texted me, and the answer is not ghetto. Just so you know.
Yeah, it's a bigger word than that.
And you're texting me ghetto? No, that is not the word Vinny uses. Incorrect.
It's a bigger word than that. What's the process? What's the process that happens? Now, all right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. We try to keep this short and sweet, under 10 minutes. We do this every Monday and Friday. Feel free to share. Feel free to follow. Feel free to call. Whatever you can do. The question we always have to ask is, who do you know that we should know? Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.